2024. We do have a quorum, so we will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I will now entertain a motion for the approval of our agenda.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Tara. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Wendy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, so for this month, we have reviews, no revisions, and no new policies. So remembering back to kind of what we've decided is a review is what takes place usually every 3 years, unless otherwise noted, and we'll see some that haven't been for quite a while. And in a review, we look over the entire policy, all right? So all of these that we're looking at today, we would be looking at the entire policy. So the first one is policy number 101.1, the name of the school district. Do I have a motion to pass on to the school board approval for policy 101.1?
So move.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Dr. Moore, all right, discussion. Any discussion? All right, this was last adopted in 2013. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of policy 101.1, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next one is policy 105. This is a data request policy. This one is not an MSBA policy. So kind of, I'm just thinking how to do this here, but I think what we will do is I'll have a motion for approval or to send on policy 105 to the school board for approval.
So moved.
So thank you, Wendy. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. So it's been motioned and seconded. Discussion.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, there's just a couple of things. I just want some clarification. On page 3, if you look in the third paragraph, I read that paragraph a couple times. I think it says the school district will not disclose private data on anyone. I think should it be to? Or am I tired today and not seeing that? To anyone other than the individual requesting data.
Yeah.
Which page are you?
Here.
Oh.
Cassie, page 3. I printed it out. Maybe it's not on page. It would be under
Identification.
identification, right? Yeah.
And I
Six,
think,
second paragraph. Because it says the school district will not disclose private data to anyone other than the individual gathering data or that individual's minor child without receiving a valid release signed by the subject of the data. It sounds like, I think it should be to. Or am I?
I think the on data means like the district possesses data on individuals
Yeah,
that
okay.
are a part of on students that are a part of the district.
Yep.
So we're not going to release data on anyone
Yes,
that we have data on.
okay.
I think it's implied maybe that we're not going to release it to anyone as well, but
yep, that's you.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'll bring up here is
Just want to
that,
make sure it's clear.
yep, one of the things that I'm going to bring up here is that this policy 105 is not an MSBA policy. Actually, policy 722, which you were given when you came in, I believe, is an MSBA policy that covers much more in depth all of these topics.
So this is the one.
So
here.
my recommendation was going to be, and I don't know if I need to make a motion on this or not, my recommendation was going to be that this committee act to rescind 105, because 105 was created by us back in, it looks like 2013. And you can see that because there's no
Revision dates.
there's no revision history, there's no, I'm going to look for the correct wording here. There's no cross-references, there's no legal references, there's nothing like that attached to policy 105. And if you look at policy 722, which the board adopted, in November of 2022, it covers all of these areas much more in depth. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
So to me, policy 105 that we created, Faribault Public Schools created back in 2013 is outdated and is not up to, just the level of protection is not there that we would have in policy 722.
So basically, we have duplicate policies, but the MSBA policy is more comprehensive.
Correct. Yes.
So with that, I would make a motion to rescind policy 105, with the reason being that we already have policy 722 that has more comprehensive coverage.
Okay, and I will second that motion. Any discussion around rescinding policy 105 in favor of policy 722? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of rescinding policy 105 in favor of policy 722, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we will pass on to the school board that this committee is in favor of rescinding policy 105 in favor of policy 722. Next is policy 203, operation of the school board. Is there a motion to move policy 203 to the school board?
So move.
All right, thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Natalie. Discussion on policy 203. This was the date of adoption is from 2010, and it does not appear that it has been reviewed since then. So this is one of the ones that has been out there kind of for a while. So, any other discussion?
Could I just have, no, we're on policy.
203, operation of school board
Oh, okay,
governing
all right,
rules.
okay. I was looking at the wrong one.
Adopted.
Any further discussion on 203? All right, hearing none, all in favor of sending 203 to the full school board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. The next is policy 203.1, which is school board procedures and rules of order. Do I have a motion to accept policy 203.1?
So moved.
Thank you, Tara. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Steves. Discussion on policy 203.1.
Okay, Mr. Chair? Okay, we're on 203.1, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you look at the very last paragraph. Okay, wait a minute, no. I think at the very last paragraph, it says to adjourn. To adjourn, is that the only legal actions the school board may take in the absence of quorum or to fix the time at which to adjourn? Does it adjourn to reset? Do they mean to adjourn to recess? Or, because it looks like to adjourn is twice there. Maybe it's to adjourn to recess. I don't know.
Take the comma.
So you fix the time.
It looks like
adjourn, and then you recess.
I don't know.
the first part, it talks about to fix the time at which to adjourn. comma, or to adjourn,
Or to-
comma, or to recess or to take other measures to
Okay,
obtain a
so
quorum.
that would be, or to fix the time at which to, or to, okay, to adjourn, okay, to recess. Okay, thank you.
So we need to make that clerical correction.
Yeah, it's just,
Oh, I think it is there.
Any other discussion on 203.1? So we will make the grammatical correction to say, the only legal actions the school board may take in absence of the quorum are to fix the time at which to adjourn, or to adjourn, to recess, or to take measures to obtain a
that's a little
quorum.
clearer.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I just have one more.
Okay.
And I'll be quiet. Okay. On J, that's for two, on page 2 there, says the order in which names will be called for roll call votes will be determined by the school board. Okay. But then if you go back to 203 for the procedures, they say the roll calls, well, the roll call shall be in alphabetical order. So do we have to, is there a conflict there, or?
So I think according to Robert's Rules
Yep.
of Order, it would be in alphabetical with the chair automatically last.
Do we need to change that then, just to make it?
Well, I think it leaves it up to the school board to say that the school board has adopted Robert's Rules of Order,
Okay.
which then,
Okay, so there's no conflict there?
I don't think there's a conflict,
Okay.
no.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Any further discussion on 203.1? All right, hearing none. All in favor of 203.1, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, next is 203.6, consent agendas. This was adopted in 2013. So do I have a motion to accept policy 203.6, consent agendas?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Discussion on 203.6. Any discussion on 203.6? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 203.6 goes. All right, policy 306 is the Administrator Code of Ethics. If you look on here, the date of adoption. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm looking at this the wrong way. The date of adoption is 2012. I actually had Jamie Kenny look this up. This was last changed from MSBA in 2002. So it's gone over 20 years without being changed. So I'll entertain a motion to approve policy 306, Administrator Code of Ethics.
So move.
All right, so I'm going to give Tara the move, and I'm going to give Nick the second. Discussion. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of policy 306, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, 306 will go on to the full school board. Policy 308 is Administrator and Director Evaluation. So here, I'm going to kind of go off a little bit here. So looking at this policy, the policy is our policy. It's not an MSBA policy. I will say, as I read through this, it was last adopted in 2012. As I read through this, there's some wording in here that concerns me a little bit. So I'm going to ask for a motion, but there are some things that I kind of want to discuss as well. Okay, so is there a motion to to or to look at policy 308?
So moved.
Thank you, Natalie. Is there a second? All right, thank you, Ms. Steves. Discussion. So I will just say my piece. So the discussion piece that I have is that I would like this to be cleared up a little bit more, and I'm being a tad bit selfish here because the majority of this is around the superintendent evaluating other administrators. So what I would propose is that we table this until May, because I want to clean it up a little bit on who are the administrators that the superintendent should be doing the evaluation of versus, so to give you an idea, the current practice is that I oversee just the head principals and the cabinet members, all right? Those are the only people that I oversee. And I do performance evaluations on them every year with a mid-year check-in, and there's written reports that go with that. However, that's not really laid out in this. And if you'll notice, there's an evaluation instrument in here that this is my first time seeing this in the 12 years I've been in this district as an administrator. So I think this is something that I would like to table until May so that I can work on this some and then bring it back to this committee.
Are you currently using a different tool or?
We are currently using there are forms, but it is set on goals versus just rubrics.
Okay.
With check-ins. So it's kind of the plan, do, study, act cycles.
Yep.
So it's based on kind of 4 to 6 week cycles of check-ins, and then a mid-year check-in and evaluation, and then an end-of-year evaluation. So that's what I am currently doing. That's not what matches with what this says.
Correct.
Okay. So, okay, go ahead.
Do you need a?
So I will make a motion to table policy 308 until May, and then during that time, May 7th, thank you, to May 7th for our policy committee meeting. All right, thank you. So it's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion around tabling this item? Any discussion around tabling policy 308? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of tabling policy 308, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I do want to clarify, tabling it until May 7th. All right. Okay. Policy 405, veterans preference. Do I have a motion to accept policy 405, veterans preference?
So moved.
Thank you, Wendy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Natalie. All right, so it's been motioned and seconded. Discussion around policy 405. Any discussion? All right, last date of adoption was 2018. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of policy 405, veterans preference, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, so 405 will go on to the full school board. Our last one for today is policy 407, employee right to know exposure to hazardous substances. Do I have a motion to accept policy 407?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Nick. Is there a second? All right, thank you, Ms. Steves. Discussion. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of policy 407, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Just a couple, there are no revisions of policies at this time. There are no new policies at this time. One thing I do want to just kind of sneak in here is last night at the board meeting, we had policy 606.5 that this committee pushed to the board to see if they had interest in it, to see if they were going to send it back to us. The board at this time would like policy 606 to stand on its own. And instead of adopting 606.5, they would like for me to put together a procedure around library materials and bring that back to them at the next work session, which will be April 1st. So that's where we kind of are with policy 606.5, okay? Next meeting is April 2nd. And that's all the information that we have. So now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Was that Tara? All right.
Yep.
Is there a second?
Sure.
We'll give that to Cassie. So it's been motioned and second. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're adjourned.